everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the Vibe Tribe family. It is Sunday, and that means it's Spiritual Sunday, and I talk about different aspects of my spiritual path or other things that could be spiritual. Today we are going to touch base on dreaming and what some dreams could possibly mean, so on and so forth. So let's get into today's video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you join the Vibe Tribe family by hitting that little red subscribe button. If you like today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, as it lets me know I'm on the right track for creating content for you. If you don't like it, that's okay. Give me that big old thumbs down. Thanks for the watch time. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, as it lets you know when my videos upload, and well, it's a squirrely kind of schedule, and I'm going to keep doing the squirrels, even if it bothers people. Oh well, let's get into it. Many, many blessings. Hashtag Vibe Tribe.
Hey everyone, how's it going? How's your Sunday so far? Sherry here, aka Diamond Art Addiction, and welcome to Spiritual Sunday. This is a series that I have on my channel. I have it every week, every Sunday, and it's where I will share certain aspects of my spirituality. I will, touch base on things. Like last night when I did the spontaneous live, thank you to everybody who joined in. I filled in for Jeremy as he didn't go live last night. I asked you guys while we were playing Would You Rather, I asked you, squirrel, if you would rather me talk about tarot and oracle cards and the witch's tools, or would you rather me touch base on dreams? And everybody, it was, I think, a unanimous decision, dreams. Dreams intrigue people. They want to know the meaning. Is it just our brain shooting neurons and just giving us images, or could there actually be hidden meanings in your dreams? Well, we have the ability to learn from our dreams, but in order to learn from them, we should come to the realization that the nature of dreams cannot be interpreted or grasped by somebody with a closed mind. But in order to grasp your dreams better, you need to have an open mind to it. Like I always say, to each their own. And if this is not something that interests you, please feel free to turn the computer or your phone off. This was requested by quite a few of you. Somebody last night in my live asked me, what does it mean when you see a faceless person? It could point to someone who's unreadable. Like there could be somebody new in your life and you're trying to grasp a read on them and you're not able to. It could have a tendency to withhold. Basically, it's somebody you're trying to figure out. You're trying to figure someone out, or it could mean that you're coming into a new group. Like it could be a new job. It could be you're new to YouTube or making a comeback and you're having trouble opening yourself up and letting people in. So if you're not able to open yourself up to people, that could be why you're having that come through in your dream as faceless people. You're not allowing people to come in. You're not allowing people to get to know you. So they're coming in your dreams as faceless. And that could be your subconscious or the universe trying to tell you to allow people in. It's okay to allow people in. Yeah, there are a lot of people who are jerks, and most of us aren't jerk whisperers. So, it is what it is. But if you're not willing to allow people in, how are you going to, you're missing out. you're missing out on opportunity. Just give me 1 second, folks. I have a child here. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Well, c'est la vie. My son was, he went with his dad to Edmonton yesterday and went to Galaxyland at West Edmonton Mall. The company that his dad works for, PepsiCo, because he delivers chips, had basically, they got Galaxyland for a couple hours for their family, like for their employees and their family. So Carson was just telling me he had a pretty fun time with that. It's like, yay. Okay. So as I was saying, like when it comes to the faceless people in your dreams, that could be your subconscious or universe trying to tell you that if you're not willing to let people in, you could be missing out on some really great friendships. Or it could be somebody new that's in your world that's very closed off and you're not able to get a read on them. And that could be the universe's way of trying to say to you, don't waste your time. They're always going to remain faceless, so on and so forth. So, like poetry, dreams can speak in metaphors and images. They show us one picture that represents a dozen more. So basically, let's say you're dreaming of ocean smashing up, like the waves are smashing up against the cliffs. That's one image, but it could represent so many more. Dreams are unique to us. They are a way for us to get messages from either loved ones that are on the other side. They could be the universe is trying to give you a message. Like it could represent so many different things. And it's up to us to whether we want to interpret what it's being said. A lot of people just think that it's a bunch of horse pucky, and that's okay. I always say people are entitled to their own opinion. So I'm going to touch base a little bit on, so let's say my mom, I'll tell you guys this story here. Actually, for squirrel, I want to let you guys know, as a spiritual person, dreams are not my area of expertise, so to speak. Every witch has areas that they are drawn to. Like for me, it's like doing oracle cards, tarot cards, spirit messages, reading souls. That's kind of my area. Just like some are dream interpreters. They are, they like numerology, astrology. There's palmistry, reading palms. There's so many different areas. And so I'm going to kind of just do my best on explaining dreams to you guys. So when I had to go to the city for testing, my dad drove us because I'm not able to drive for extended periods of time. And Richard doesn't know the city that great, and it's city traffic, which is a whole other ball game than small town driving. So my mom was telling me that she had a dream that she went to the medical center and she walked in, checked in, sat down, looked over, and she seen her dad. And my grandfather passed away in 2014. A couple days after Father's Day, he passed away. It was sudden, quick, like we didn't see it coming. And she seen him and she said she got up, she walked around and she's like, Dad, what are you doing here? And he's like, just kind of looked at her. She's like, where have you been? I've missed you. And he's like, I've been around. He's like, I miss you too, Kath. And because he used to call her Kath. My mom's name is Kathy. And she's like, I miss you, Dad. He's like, I miss you too. And she's like, I love you. He's like, I love you too, Kath. And they had a hug. And my mom and grandfather, they never said I love you all the time, right? Like it was just they knew they loved each other. It was not something that needed to be said. And she said it felt so good, and then they hugged. So I said to my mom, she said it felt so real, like I was actually there. And I've had dreams like this too, where I've, dreamt of my grandmother holding my son. Anyway, and I said, Mom, could you feel the hug? Like when you guys hugged, could you feel him? She's like, Sherry, it felt like I was hugging him. I could feel his touch. I could feel my arms around him. And then he was getting ready to say something, and all of a sudden my dad woke her up because they had to get going. So what is that, you say? What is that? My mom was talking to me about it, and I said, Mom, that was Grandpa giving you a message through your dreams. Loved ones can communicate with us on the other side through their dreams. You have to be open and willing to receive the message. And not just because you want your loved one to come to you. Spirits, that is our subconscious, our soul. There are, there's scientists out there that, the impartial, they say that dreams are impartial, spontaneous products, of neurons just clashing in our brain. And, over time, they've learned a lot about our brain, but there is a lot they don't know about our brains and what they can do. Like they say, we only use 10% of our actual brain, and there's a whole other bunch that they don't know, and why we don't use our entire brain. Like we are meant to be smart beings. Oh, give me one sec, folks. And I'm back. Like I said in my live last night, it's like my family has radar. She's filming. Let's go bugger. So loved ones can speak to us through dreams. They absolutely 100% can. They just kind of tap into that subconscious because our soul is connected to the astral plane, to the spirit world, and whether you believe it or not, c'est la vie. If you've ever dreamt of someone who's on the other side, and you get a message from them, and it's like you can feel it and you can remember the dream, T for T, like you got it, you remembered that dream. That was more than likely a loved one coming through to speak. Why was it in the medical center my mom dreamt of? Who knows? We don't know that. Maybe it was because we were going to a medical center for my appointment. So maybe that's why my mom dreamt of the medical center. But that was her dad coming back to say, I love you. Because he died so suddenly, because that was the first dream my mom had. Sorry, I switch colors here, guys. There it is. I've got multiple trays with multiple colors out because it's not like super bad confetti, but this painting's a little bit confetti, which is okay. We work on it. So there's that. And have you ever had a dream where maybe it's not about a loved one, but it's a dream that you wake up and it felt so real? Write it down. Like literally keep a dream journal at the side, like at your bedside, and write down any dreams that you have. Because when you have those dreams that seem so real, like you can remember things, you could touch things, you felt it, you could smell, things were so clear. Exactly, yeah. That was a universal message. And with dreams, like I said earlier, the they're metaphoric. You got to try and read between the lines. Like, if you, okay, here's a dream that I have every once in a while. I am scared of snakes and them attacking me. Like, I just have a fear of snakes. Well, every once in a while, I'll have this dream where I'm in a backyard and I don't recognize this backyard, and it's always the same backyard. There's like a fire pit and trees. And then out of nowhere comes this giant anaconda-like white snake coming at me. Like, it looks like an albino snake coming at me in an aggressive manner, ready to attack. And the moment that it gets ready to bite, I wake up. And I wake up and I'm sweating. And, I've learned that dream indicates that there is a snake in my world that has malicious intentions, like a snake in the grass, someone who is backstabbing and conniving. So whenever I have that dream, I know I need to step back and take a look at who I have in my world around me. That is the universe's way of warning me that I need to take a look at who I'm allowing into my world. The universe has I say universe, it could be Lord and Lady. Some people say God or Jesus. It's whatever you believe. I say universe because it is universal. Just a sec, need a sippy. Oh, just give me a second, guys. And I'm back. Hopefully we can get through the rest of this video with no more interruptions. Maybe that's my own fault for, I know today's video is going up late. Kate, squirrel moment. I know today's video is going up late. I apologize. I had a really rough night with my back last night, and I didn't get to bed till the sun was coming up. And by the time I got woken up, which was my son coming into my bedroom, his dad brought him home. Here we go. This is an example of dreaming. I went to bed at 5:30 this morning, near 6. Sky was lightening up, and it was like my head hit the pillow. Normally it takes me a good 20-30 minutes to fall asleep. Like, it takes me a while. No, this was one of those head hit pillow down, out, cold. I know I was dreaming. I know I was. But when my son woke me up, because I was woken up abruptly and not kind of on my own, because it was like I didn't know Richard had gone fishing. And of course, the doors are locked and my son doesn't have a key to get in. He's ringing the doorbell and pounding on the door. His dad's out in the truck, and literally they had to call Donovan to get a hold of Mr. Addiction. And then Mr. Addiction gave Carson the code for the garage so he could get in. And that's how I got woken up. I was in such a deep sleep. I even had my alarm set, knowing my son was going to be home at a certain time. My alarms were going off and going off and going off. Never woke me up. Mr. Addiction told me he woke me up to tell me he was going fishing. Because like I said to him, why didn't you wake me up to tell me you were going? He's like, I did. I was like, I don't remember that. Like, have you guys ever had that? And it's really strange. And I know I was dreaming. And normally I can remember my dreams because I've trained myself to remember them. Say what? You're like, say what? Trained your... Yeah, I have. And I will touch base on that in a minute. But I was in such a deep, like gone kind of sleep that I don't remember anything. And it's weird. Like, I know I was in a place of significance, and it's frustrating me because, so I'm going to hope that there was no message within my dream. Do I sit there and interpret my dreams all the time? No. Do I have a dream journal? Yes. Yes, I do. Like, although no one can truly say what dreams are, it's clear that, they have significance. They really, truly do. Whether it's trying to warn you of something, whether it's, predicting future events. Like, I had actually read in a book that Abraham Lincoln had a dream that he was walking through the warehouse looking for people, or the White House. He was walking through the White House and he walked into a room and there were a bunch of guards around, the viewing area, and people were crying. And he's like, what happened? He's like, he's dead. He's like, who's dead? And they're like, the president. He was assassinated. A short time later, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. So was that the universe giving him warning? Yes. And some people will say that our dreams are just our subconscious fears. Not always. Not always, you guys. It's not just our subconscious inner fears coming out. It can actually be warnings, predicting future events. I've talked to people who have learned that they can actually predict future events that are coming, and, I always say forewarned is forearmed. And what that means is if you've been, like, if I give somebody a card reading and I touch base on the future position, I let them know forewarned is forearmed, which means I've now warned you, or I've told you of something that could possibly be coming. Now that you've been forewarned, can you change the events? Maybe. I will give an example. Okay, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story time here. So I was doing card readings out of a spiritual store in the next town over where I used to live before we moved here. I had done a card reading for a lady and I was like, oh, I got the future position. I'm like, your dad looks like, I'm just getting this feeling that your dad is sick. He needs to go to a doctor. Need a sippy. He needs to go see a doctor. It's like, get his heart checked, something about his heart. Because between the cards and the grandmother that was coming through, which was this girl's grandmother, I described her grandmother. She's like, wow, I kind of like, we talked about that. And then I went into the card. When it comes to cards, I know I'm getting away from dreams, but dreams and cards can kind of be the same thing. Like doing oracle readings or tarot readings can be the same thing as interpreting dreams. Dreams are like a tool. They're a tool of our subconscious. It's up to us to try to decipher the message. So, the next weekend, and I was getting uneasy because I do not charge for readings. I don't, you guys. Like, I never have. I don't want to. But the owner of this store was very insistent that I get something for my time. Later, I figured out why she wanted that, but I'll explain that in a second. So this girl, I told her dad is sick. He needs to go to the doctor. It's something about his heart. Okay, this lady booked me in for the next weekend. And I had this lady come in. I started reading for her and I was like, you have a mother-in-law on the other side who's quite, I said, so I recognize her soul energy. I was brushing it off. I'm like, strange. I can feel like I recognize this soul energy. And I'm like, you weren't very close to her. You guys had a little bit. And she's like, yep, that's right. Like, I'm like, it was a typical or stereotypical mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship. So we're reading and I'm going on. And then I'm like going, your husband. I'm like, her son. I'm like, there's something not right. He needs to get his heart checked. Okay, then another girl came in. And I'm like, same thing. I read for her and the same soul energy was there. And I'm like, and I ground in between readings, you guys. Like when I'm doing readings, if I'm doing multiple at once, like, people have wanted to book me for tarot parties and, where they invite their friends over and I read for them. Anyway, squirrel. So I recognize this soul energy and I'm like, I pull her cards and they were pretty much the exact same cards from the lady the previous weekend. And I'm like, wait a second here. And I'm like reading for, and I'm like, your dad, he needs to go to the doctor and get his heart checked. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, you got the same spirit energy, but this time it's in a grandmother form and not a mother-in-law form. I'm like, wait a second. And she couldn't hold back. So we go out to the storefront and I'm looking and I'm like, you guys are all related. And they're like, yeah, we are. They're like, after you read for Heather the previous weekend and said that her dad was sick, we wanted to come in and because she was really upset and we wanted to prove her wrong, but you're blowing us out of the water. Like, what is going on here? And I'm like, so the next daughter comes in and her energy is really like off the wall. I said to her, you got to calm your soul down. Like you're like off the Richter scale here. Like I said, you got a lot going on in your world right now and I don't even need to pull cards. So we chatted for for half an hour. And, she threw $60 at me. And I said, I'm not taking that. I can't. She goes, no, you're now my reader. She's like, you've blown me away. So after everything was said and done, I did a couple more readings that weren't family from them. But they drained me so bad that the poor lady that came in, that was my last reading of the day, she drove all the way from BC to get a reading from me because her friend told her, you need to come to this reader. Like, wow, mind-blowing. I couldn't read for her. I was so drained. And even grounding wasn't helping me. I had a headache. And getting to the point where I was, earlier with the money. People were putting money in a dish, right? And this is what this lady was doing because she wanted her 10% of my earnings. Need a sippy sippy. That was the last day I read because I figured things out. That was the last day I read for anybody. That was the last day I've ever read in a shop for anybody. These people didn't listen to me. They didn't have him go get his heart checked out. 8 months later, he died. He died from a massive heart attack because all 3 arteries were blocked. The lady that owned that store that I was doing readings for contacted me to tell me. Because the readers, the family that I read for, wanted to come to me to see if I could connect to him. And I told her I would not read in her store anymore. Reason being was things were being done for financial gain. I basically said, if people wanted to donate to me, they can. But I cannot take an exchange of money. I said to her, here's a wish list of items I want from your store. Just, once you see what I've earned for the day, just give me the items. And it's basically bartering, right? That's what I would do is I would barter for readings. And that works for me because I don't believe that gifts are meant for financial gain. And that's why there are so many people, there's so many scam artists out there that make people so skeptical of the ones who actually are gifted. We are the ones that are getting the backlash from the scammers because nobody wants to believe it, right? It's to the point I've had holy water thrown on me, just saying. So, I couldn't read anymore. And the point of that is it's like dreams. Dreams will give us messages. We have to try to interpret them. And people can dream of the same thing, like, what's one here? Like, what I'm trying to think, like fire, right? People could dream of fire. And it could be a forewarning that a house is going to, burn down. So maybe get things checked. Or it could mean like lighting a fire under your ass and get things going. Get a move on. Dreams are very, very metaphoric. And it's up to us to figure out what they mean. And like I said, people can dream of the identical same thing. So here's another example. Have you ever dreamt, like go to bed and you dream and it's real? Like it feels like you're in a movie and you're in places maybe you recognize, maybe you don't, and you can hear people talking, but you're invisible. People can't see you. Okay. You wake up the next day and you're tired. You're exhausted. But yet you were in bed for 8 hours. But yet you feel drained, exhausted. You can remember your dream. And it felt so real, almost as though you were flying and going from place to place to place. Okay. That could be possible astral planing. And what that is your soul's energy leaves your body to take flight, per se. And you're in the astral plane, the in-between world. Kind of a place where, people who are in a coma, their soul leaves the body and astral planes, takes a trip. It could be because you're meant to see something. It could be just because your soul wants to have some fun, because our souls, our inner soul energy knows what we're capable of doing. Okay, I got to get another color here, you guys. I need the house or that little hattie looking thing. There it is. This is what I do when it's confetti heavy is squirrel. We're squirreling here. We're squirreling, you guys. I have multiple dishes with my containers. I keep the containers in the dish so I know which one is which. It could be baggies. Now, if you're working with the lockables system, you won't be able to do multiple trays. I'm using the Elizabeth Ward system, the Doris. This and Harbor Freight are my two favorite kitting systems. It works for, especially if you've got confetti heavy. So our soul, because we've lived lots of lives, our souls are connected to the energy source of us all. God, Lord, Lady, Goddess, whatever Allah, Buddha, whatever you believe in, whatever you follow, our soul is connected to that source. That source is what created us, right? What gave us our soul energy. So we are connected to that. Our inner soul knows what's out there. It knows that we can get messages. It knows that it can astral plane. It's just a matter of us interpreting. So let's touch base a little bit on reoccurring dreams. Oh, wait 1 second here, guys. Be right back. Okay, there we go. I think everybody's good now. Well, I thought that before and we weren't good, but hey, we'll move on. So reoccurring dreams, when you keep having the same dream. Maybe it's not identical, but it's like the same theme, same ideal that it has been. Those could be the universe is trying to get a message to you and you're not quite getting it. Like you're not quite figuring out what the universe is trying to say. So it's going to keep giving you that dream, the universal message, until you're able to figure it out in one way, shape, or form. I love dreaming. When it comes to your dreams, you can actually train yourself to remember your dreams. You can also train yourself to control your dream in some aspects. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're dreaming about something like, spiders are all coming around you. Like there's spiders everywhere. Well, for me, that would be a nightmare. When I go to bed each night, I repeat in myself, in my head, I repeat, I have control. I have control over my dreams. I have control of what happens. And then I will remember my dreams tomorrow. I will remember my dreams tomorrow. Does that always work? No, not always. It doesn't always work. No. But I do keep a dream journal by my bedside. So the moment I wake up, if I have a dream, I write everything down as best I can in like point blank form. Because within an hour or so, you're slowly going to forget, or it's going to change in your brain, right? Because if you wake up and something in your dream makes no sense, we automatically will try to justify things within our head to try to get things to make sense. So definitely keep a dream journal by your bed. Write things down in point form. Things that that kind of pointed out to you, like that was strange, or maybe you remember the whole dream. You could go to your phone, go on voice record, and speak what you've seen. Like, go into voice memos and, go over what your dream was. Then maybe at the end of your day, sit down and go over your voice memo to write it down. Like in your dream journal as witches, it could be a book of shadows, because we can get messages. It can be futuristic. It could be something that's going on right now. It could be a loved one trying to get a message to you that maybe doesn't make sense in the dream, but it will make sense down the road. Definitely keep a dream journal. It's very beneficial and very helpful if you have that dream journal. Now, I do have books that help me to interpret dreams. So if you do need help interpreting a dream, you can definitely come to me. I will do my best to try to interpret it. Even if it makes no sense to me, it might make sense to you. Sometimes I will go to other witches that I know where dreams are something that is their area. Like I'm cards and spirit. There's people that are dreams. Like that is what they enjoy doing, is dream interpretation. It is amazing what we can get out of our dreams. It really truly is. It's not something that you can turn off. It's not something that you can make go away, because you are subconsciously going to dream no matter what. Sippy time. Oh, so yeah, dreams are never going to go away, you guys. We're always going to dream. They're always going to be there. I actually enjoy dreaming. I love dreaming. Like every night when it's getting close to bedtime, I actually almost get kind of excited, because you never know what you're going to dream. And it's like, ooh, I wonder what I'm going to dream tonight. Like let's say you dream of your ex, right? And you dream that you guys are back together and, you're all kissy. And then you wake up and you're next to your current beau. And you're like, whoa, what was that about? Like, that could just be that there's some unfinished business. You need closure. you know. I've dreamt of drugs, like, because I'm a recovering drug addict, and I've dreamt where I was using my drug of choice and I actually felt wazooed in my dream. And then I wake up in a cold sweat thinking that, oh my God, what did I do? What did I do? I just relapsed. And it's like, no, you didn't. You were dreaming. And I woke up so afraid. I think that was a reminder, you know, of what can happen or how I feel about it. You know, becoming a drug addict scares the hell out of me, you guys. It really, truly does. Like, it is one of my biggest fears that I'm going to give in to that craving demon. Because every once in a while, yeah, of course I crave. Every drug addict will. Honestly, like every drug addict will crave of dreaming. So it's, you know, it scared the living bejesus out of me. It didn't make me want to use. It scared me. Like, I actually woke up thinking I relapsed because the dream was so real. And that's how real dreams can be. You know, like, so I try to, you know, some nights I can control my dreams. Other nights I can't control my dreams. It just depends, right? Well, you guys, I think on that note, I hope this kind of answered some questions, or maybe it made you a little bit more curious. Like I say, when I do these videos, it's only, you know, just to kind of touch base on things, not go in depth on things. Next Sunday, I am going to be doing a Q&A. I have a post in the community tab here on YouTube that is asking you guys to ask questions. Like, if you have questions about my spirituality or maybe things that I've touched base on in my videos, you know, that you would like me to elaborate on a little bit more, please feel free to ask your question. If you don't want people to know that's you asking the question, you can email me, which I keep linked down below. I keep my email down there. I keep, you know, my Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. You can private message me on Facebook. I gotta really go check that others folder. I always forget to check the others folder on Facebook. Okay, so on that note, you guys, we're going to end today's video. I want to get this up in time, but before it's like day's end, because I really overslept today. Oopsie. So I will bid thee all farewell. Stay positive, live blessed, and until the next time, many, many blessings. #Vibe Tribe. Bye, guys.